preparing for the journey. So I don't want these videos to be purely like advice or anything, because it's more about documenting my journey and opening up discussions with others who are maybe on similar journeys or who are right at the start of their journey. You might be at school, maybe doing GCSEs, looking at what A levels to do, but you already maybe have in mind that you want to become a therapist. So that's where this could maybe be of some value in terms of what kind of options you have to tailor it towards this career. So just to kind of summarize from last video, that in terms of like what I did, my A levels were like English, history and Latin, so nothing to do with psychology. I then went to uni and I did English, which is more like English literature, and then throughout that I was writing a lot about like human behaviour and stuff. So, and I was also just very interested in therapy anyway, from experiencing my own mental health problems. So I kind of knew that was a path for me. So I found a psychology conversion course, which was 1 year, like a master's at the same uni. So I did that, and then I found that through a lot of struggling, don't really know how to react when I walk past people at the moment. Well, no, not through a lot of struggling, but through a lot of difficulty trying to find what to do next in terms of, and maybe if you're at uni, you might find this as well, in terms of, do I do the doctorate in clinical psychology? Do you do the sort of like counselling route, which is typically like 3 years, or do you do something like I'm doing, which is the psychotherapy route, which is typically 5 years? But if we kind of go back to if you're a bit younger, then what can you do? So I would say that if you're kind of like finishing off your GCSEs, or I'm not really sure when you actually have to make the choice for your A levels. So whenever you're about to make a choice and you think, okay, I want to do therapy, like I want to do psychology, I want to become a therapist. Well, in that case, it sounds quite obvious. Maybe look at doing psychology for your A level, and then you can obviously move on to, if this is the right route for you, doing psychology as a degree, which will set you up really nicely to then maybe do a master's if you want to do that in clinical psychology or a different sort of psychology. I believe that at my uni, you need a level 7. Now I'd like to know from you guys or girls whether a level 7 is undergraduate or master's, 'cause I'm not too sure. But either way, the general criteria for my uni was, for the foundation course, was quite simply laid out in terms of having that degree, and it was more about your personal experience, maybe some volunteering, things like that, that make you well suited for the foundation. But as it is a foundation, which is typically a lower level than the degree, then I think they're not expecting quite as much. Yeah, although it is, you probably will be doing it after a degree. So yeah, I'd say that's kind of the route starting from the beginning. Maybe more so, sorry, it's quite dark, more so in terms of preparing generally. Let's say you've now, let's sort of fast forward and you've done your degree and you've been accepted onto a foundation like the one I'm doing. How can you prepare? If I talk about my own experience, that's all I really know, obviously. I found that I got my own therapist. That was just sort of to deal with my own mental health issues, but it's actually been really useful to speak with my therapist about the course as well, and dealing with the natural struggles that come from doing a course around mental health. And it's putting yourself in a very vulnerable situation each week where you're either listening to other people's struggles or you're talking about your own struggles. And a large part of your life will, although it is that once a week, you might find yourself maybe getting a job in the mental health field to complement the study. So essentially you could find, a bit like what I'm doing now, you could find yourself 6 days a week, your life revolving around therapy or mental health, which hopefully you can kind of prepare for and build up that. I guess what I've been trying to do is build up some kind of resilience, build up the boundaries so that I'm not sort of absorbing all that information from others who are sharing their mental health struggles, because that's a massive part of it, is learning to cope with that. So I know I've gone off on a bit of a tangent. My nose is running a lot. Apologise for that. But I'd say that's generally a pretty good way to prepare from the earlier years up to maybe if you're at uni now, or even sort of like preparing to start a course like this. Yeah, I still don't know what to do. Thank you for watching, and tomorrow I will be talking about one of my sessions as a sort of anecdote. Obviously not going to go into proper details, but maybe talking about what a normal session would look like, what a normal week of uni would look like, just for those who are maybe looking at doing a foundation, to help you prepare for that. Okay.